Hello, you guys, and welcome to another story time brought to you by ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which I am here to help you develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult, with a particular emphasis on our Black children as well as our Black adults, all right? African Americans, all right? Our Black people from the African diaspora. All right, so that's black folks who are around the globe. All right, and and I hope that you all have read or your plan is to read for at least 30 minutes. That's what's up. Okay, and before we get started, I just want to say something to you all that I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard over and over and over again, which is great. But I cannot stress it enough. People who want the best for you, who want to see you just doing great things, they are going to remind you of this, which is consistency. All right? Consistency. All right? Being consistent. That means that you are doing something over and over and over again. All right? Just like if you continuously do something over and over and over again that is bad for you or wrong, you will continue to get the same results, which is bad results. But if you are continuously doing something over and over and over again that is good for you, that is great for you, then you will see great results. Hence, with reading. This is why I stress this all of the time with my students that I tutor, with my own children, with my own self. Being consistent, making sure that you do that, and you will see the results. So if your goal is to try to get yourself as well as your children to want to read more, to love reading, then you have to do it every single day, even if it's in small increments. So meaning that you just take little small pieces. So even if you can't do the 30 minutes a day that I definitely try to make sure that I tell you all that you should be doing, start off with 15 minutes. And you can even break it up. You can still get your 30 minutes in, though, even if you did 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening. Or you could do 10, 10, and 10. All right, whatever you choose. But just make sure that you're doing a little bit every day. All right, so get that reading in. All right. Now, you guys, bam, 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 bam. We are back. We are back right here with this book, Stealing the Game, written by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Raymond Obstfeld. All right. For those of you, if this is your first time joining us for the read aloud, all right. I have been reading this book. I'm believing that the chapters are not numbered. I think this is chapter 5. But if you want to hear the first chapter, then you'll have to go back, all right, to chapter 1 so that you can hear about, to keep up with what's going on. But I will brief you, on so far of what I've read. And basically, so far, this brother Chris, he was in school, and the police came to question him because he was all beat up. All right, and so he got questioned or whatever. So of course everybody's like, oh my gosh, because he's in high school. And so then after that was the first chapter that was they talked about. Then they went into and they said 4 days earlier. So they first started off the book with him being beat up. Then they went into to talk about what happened before that. And then his brother, Jax, all right, his brother Jax was watching him play basketball, and he did not even realize that was his brother. So that was creeping him out. Him and his friends, they were playing. He like, man, who is this dude with this other dude watching us play? So come to find out it was his brother. And his brother is supposed to be in college. All right. And so he like, what's going on, man? I ain't see you. What you doing here? So this is pretty much where we are now on the book. And so this book right here, I'm happy that I chose this book to read because a lot of the books that I've been reading are really kind of geared towards the elementary school kids or even middle school kids. So this book actually is more, I would say, kind of 8th grade, 9th grade, definitely high school book. All right. So you guys gather around and let's enjoy this chapter, which is entitled Home is where the secrets are kept. You did what? Dad hollered. His face was red and swollen. I can remember the last time I seen him this angry. Maybe when I was 5 and threw up into his open briefcase right before he was due in court. Turns out orange juice and sardines aren't a great combination for breakfast. Mom was just as angry, but she expressed it by standing perfectly still and showing no emotion on her face. If a stranger saw her right then, he'd think someone was giving her a lasagna recipe, not that her son was describing how his life had imploded. Mom and Dad were both lawyers, and how they were acting now was pretty much how they practiced law. Dad was all passion and pacing and eye bulging and dramatic hand waving. Mom was all cool, logic, and soothing tones. Dad was hot pizza burning the roof of your mouth. Mom was frozen yogurt, cooling your throat. You've ruined your life, Dad announced. You realize that, don't you? Everything we've all worked so hard for just flushed down the toilet. Why didn't you just throw a bomb through the window and blow us all up? That would have been kinder. Mom's voice was so low I could barely hear her. Perhaps you can explain your reasoning, Jax. Yes, by all means, Jax, Dad said, every word turbocharged with sarcasm. Let's hear your reasoning. I'm sure you have excellent reasons for dropping out of Stanford, one of the most prestigious law schools in the world, a degree from which would have guaranteed you the kind of career most people would kill for. All eyes were on Jax. Jax looked over at me. I was sitting on the staircase, out of the line of fire. Mom was standing in front of the leather lazy boy that was referred to as Dad's chair. Dad was weaving around the family room like a hungry shark, dodging the coffee table, the floor lamp, and Mom as he tried to burn up his energy before he burst into flames. Jax was sitting on the leather sofa, one arm stretched along the back, one ankle on top of the other knee, looking as relaxed as if he were watching The Simpsons. I knew that expression. He would have grinned at me, but he knew that would send Dad rocketing through the roof and into outer space. Stuff didn't affect Jax the way it did normal people. He had some sort of internal off switch that allowed him to always look confident and in control. I envied that most of all, which is why I had been so surprised to see those moments of fear at the park. Dad, Jax finally said, you're overreacting. My life isn't ruined. Right. I forgot about all those career opportunities at Taco Bell. Would you like sauce with that chalupa, sir? It's just a small road bump. It'll all work itself out. Jack smiled as if he'd already seen the future when he was sitting in the White House running the country. And don't knock the chalupa. They're delicious with hot sauce. Dad's face turned an even brighter red. No time for studying, yet you seem to have plenty of time for working out, he said, nodding at Jax's muscular arms. Jax had always been toned and athletic looking, but with his hoodie off, I could see how much more muscle he'd put on. Are you giving up your law career so you can try out for American Ninja? Jax didn't say anything. Mom sat down on the edge of Dad's chair. Just tell us what happened, Jax. Why did you drop out of law school? Dad stopped moving and faced Jax, waiting for the answer. The doorbell rang. Really? Saved by the bell. Why doesn't that ever happen to me? Dad took a deep breath and smoothed back his hair, composing himself. I'll get it, he said to Mom, who'd stood up. I think Dad was relieved to take a break from yelling at Jax. His voice had started to go hoarse. The three of us remaining didn't say anything. We just stared at the entrance to the living room, waiting for our mystery guest to appear. We were all surprised to see Dad return with Officer Marcus Rollins, my teammate Theo's dad. He was dressed in his Tustin PD uniform with his big black belt sagging under the weight of a gun. handcuffs, pepper spray, and a few things I didn't recognize. He nodded at me. Hey, Chris. I nodded back. Hey, Mr. Rollins. Marcus, Mom said with a big smile, giving him a hug. Is this about the mutilated bodies I've been burying in the backyard? Mom had a weird sense of humor which she only used with her close friends. Over the years, she and Mr. Rollins had tried to get Theo and me to do stuff together. But his friends were all brainiacs and mine were all jocks, so neither of us was interested. Now that Theo was on the school basketball team, we gotten used to each other. Officer Rollins chuckled. His manner and expression told me this wasn't a serious visit. No, it's the department's policy to let the first 6 dead bodies slide. But if there's a 7th, I might have to write you a ticket. You guys are so morbid, Dad said with a laugh, as if we'd all been sitting around playing a spirited game of Monopoly. Marcus, you remember Jax? Jax walked over and shook Officer Rollins' hand. It was weird to see my 6'1" brother look up to an even taller guy. Good to see you again, Officer Rollins, Jax said. I guess a fancy Stanford law student can call me Marcus, Officer Rollins said. I waited to see who would burst a blood vessel first, Mom or Dad. But both nodded happily as if Jax was still at Stanford and the world was a big shiny gold apple. Hard to believe it's the same Jax I used to carry on my shoulders. Officer Rollins ran his hand over his bald scalp, his black skin glistening from the recessed lighting over his head. Back then, I had the most glorious afro and a big old mustache. He traced above his lip as if he expected to find the mustache there, like he'd misplaced it for all these years. I looked like Shaft. Shaft was bald, I said, remembering the movie I'd seen over at Roger's house. Not the Samuel Jackson Shaft, Officer Rollins said with a frown. I'm talking about the original, Richard Roundtree. He said the name with awe, like a priest might say the Pope's name. Can you dig it? Dad said in a weird hipster way, and the two of them laughed. Clearly, this was some sort of old folks reference that I didn't get. Wasn't the one with Samuel Jackson R-rated? Mom suddenly said, turning toward me like this was a cross-examination. Really, Mom? Is now the time to have this discussion again? I've been watching R-rated movies since I turned 12. In fact, Dad took me to see a horror film that was rated R. Oddly, Mom was okay with me seeing an R-rated movie if it had violence and language, but if it was R because of sexual content or nudity, she didn't want me to go. Naked people? No. Hacked up people? Okay. Anyway, Officer Rollins said with a tired sigh, the department's been going door to door to warn people about the rash of burglaries we've had around here lately. Right, Mom said. We've got an automated phone call. Apparently that wasn't effective enough. We've had 3 more since the calls. I heard something about it at school. The crooks were breaking into garages and taking all they could carry. How are they getting into the garages, Dad asked. They're all on coded remotes. We don't know yet, Theo's dad said. They've hit a dozen homes in the area in the last 3 months. By area, do you mean this neighborhood? Mom asked. Not yet, but the last house was only a few blocks away on Champion. Mom looked at Dad. That's pretty close. Who do they think it is? Dad asked. Kids or professionals? Officer Rollins shrugged. It's a pretty smooth operation for kids. They've made off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property. Somebody's going to do some serious jail time, kid or not. Why was he looking at me? He continued. So just be on the lookout for anything suspicious. People you don't know driving around. You see anything, give us a call and we'll check it out. Mom and Dad walked Officer Rollins to the front door. When they were out of the room, Jack said, Man, I go away and the place turns into a crime zone. Pretty soon we'll have gangbangers spray painting the mailboxes and mafia hitmen patrolling in Best Buy. I smiled. I missed his sarcasm. Then Mom and Dad reappeared, and Dad said, "Let's get back to why you dropped out of Stanford after everything your mom and I did to get you there." Jax took a deep breath, like he was about to dive to recover something from the bottom of the ocean. "I didn't exactly drop out," he said quietly. "I'm on academic leave. It was either that or flunk out." "Flunk out?" Dad wailed. "Flunk out?" He was moving again, hands chopping the air like he was fighting off a gang of attacking ninjas. "I'll save you from the rest of the argument." I tiptoed up the stairs while Dad continued to rant and Mom cross-examined. Then Jax got mad and he started to rant. Then even Mom was ranting at both of them to stop ranting. Rant, rinse, repeat. I closed the door to my room and flopped onto my bed. My backpack was still where I tossed it earlier, before I had taken off to play some basketball. It held the homework I had to finish: algebra, Spanish, and social science. But instead of hitting the books, I hopped off my bed, opened my bottom desk drawer, and removed the false bottom I made last summer when my parents were busy moving their law office to a bigger location. I pulled out the papers I kept hidden there and put them on my desk. Like I said, home is where the secrets are kept. And this was my big secret. One of them, anyway. Wow. Oh, whoa, 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 y'all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What is Mr. Chris talking about? And then, what's up with Jax, y'all? Why did he drop out of law school? And why does he have all those muscles? That's what we're trying to find out what's going on. And also, who is that burglarizing their community? Well, these are all questions that will be answered as long as you join us right back here for the next chapter of this awesome book, Still in the Game, by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Raymond Opsfeld. All right. Hope you all are enjoying this. And just a reminder, obviously, with this book, I'm going to put also in the description, letting parents know that this book definitely has some content, obviously, in here that, is more for the middle school / high school students. So for those of you who feel like this book is a little bit too grown for your little kiddies, then I would definitely skip this read aloud. Or if not, hey, please make sure you join us again for our next chapter. All right, y'all. So remember to please keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. Like, subscribe, and share. Bam. Like, subscribe, and share. Bam. All right, y'all. Peace out, my reading revolutionaries.